There have, of course, been many rumblings surrounding Titanfall 2 for quite some time, but we know pretty much nothing about it. But we have the first rumblings and details of this game from lead writer Jesse Stern, as he has spoken in an interview with Forbes about some of the details of the game. Now, he is promising that Titanfall 2 will be portraying a world in which science meets magic, but the world will still be, quote, grounded, dirty, human, and real. And apparently they've been working on this over at Respawn Entertainment since about 6 months after adding content to the first Titanfall game. Now, what's really interesting is that when Respawn were first making Titanfall, they were a fairly small business with only a couple of computers. They just didn't have the resources to do both multiplayer and single player to the level that they wanted. Now, naturally Titanfall did really well for itself, and that basically means that we will be getting a single player game as well as a multiplayer game with Titanfall 2. Now, here's what he had to say, and his comments are rather interesting. He said, quote, "The multiplayer game will be even better than it was the first time around. The first game was an Xbox exclusive initially. This one is going to be widely available, I believe, on all platforms. One of the shortcomings of the first game was we just did not have the mechanism to tell everyone, here's who you are, here's where you are, and who's around you. We knew all the answers, we just could not deliver it. So we are doing our best to deliver a vision of grand global colonial warfare, retelling the story of the American Revolution and the American Civil War in space. We imagine the next generation of immigrants moving out to the new frontier of an inhabitable planet. Rather than taking a traditional sci-fi approach we wanted to take a look at what would happen practically, what the ships would look like, with machines that were designed for excavation and construction, demolition and working the land, and what happens when they are turned into instruments of war. What inspires us is the junction of technological advancement with the inevitability of conflict and war, and what the next war might look like. In Titanfall 2 there will be a lot of scenes where science meets magic, but keeping it grounded and dirty and human and real." Now, sadly, there is not any real indication as to whether Titanfall 2 will actually be coming out. EA has not set a release date. They've only indicated that it will be out in fiscal year 2017, which runs from April the 1st through March 31st till 2017. So there is that, and he also said, that being, of course, our interviewee, that they're only past a year into it, and quote, "It takes 2 years to make these things, usually sometimes late this year or early next year seems like the right neighbourhood for completion." So basically, Christmas release this year or early next year for Titanfall 2. Now, this definitely sounds interesting. I actually quite enjoyed the gameplay of Titanfall, and I'm not usually the person who goes for multiplayer only, and it's nice to know that this one we're getting a single player. I would imagine it will primarily still be focused on its multiplayer, but lack of a single player might help that value proposition for a lot of people, as of course multiplayer only games have kind of gotten a bad rap as of late. So be interesting to see what happens with Titanfall 2, and of course be looking forward to seeing the very first gameplay or trailer, which I would imagine be a while before we see that. Probably won't be at E3, but hey ho, maybe they'll surprise us. Thank you very much for watching though, guys. I'll see you next time.